What's going on, guys? So for today, I'm going to kind of take you through my squat session. I know nobody really cares about how much I can squat for how many reps, whatever. But my build up from start to finish and kind of what that looks like, how I get warmed up for a squat, how I approach each set as I'm adding up weight, how many sets I take to get up to my working sets, and then how I approach each of those, and then how I approach especially those working sets that I get up to. I will say I did start with rolling my feet out. I do highly recommend that with pretty much everybody, whether you're squatting, deadlifting, anything where you're under a heavy load and you have to be able to grip the floor. Just rolling out the bottom of your feet, whether it's with a golf ball, lacrosse ball, anything really that you can really get in there. Aside from that, a lot of times, honestly, my warm up, or what I like to just call my prep work, is kind of dependent upon how I'm feeling for the day. So like sometimes if my knees are a little cranky at me, I'll do some TKEs, I'll do some stuff to get them going. Sometimes my hips are a little tight, so I might do some band stretching or some things to get activated. But as a whole, if I'm not really feeling too bad, and even if I am, my first thing with the bar is I go with an empty bar. So I'll just walk you through that here. So I will unrack the empty bar here. I'll get set up. And I will say for this set and then for my first couple of build-up sets, I also will not wear shoes. That way I can really feel myself rooting into the floor, into the ground, feeling those feet being activated. Once I get up to a certain weight, I'll throw my shoes on. So from here, what I will do, yes, it's a 20 kilo or 45 pound bar, but I will really emphasize trying to get my feet locked into the floor. Everything from there up to my shoulders holding the bar is locked in, I'm braced, I'm nice and tight. And all I'm gonna do for the start is move to about a quarter squat and back up. I'm gonna go 5 reps here. And then on this 5th one, I will next the second part of that, starting at the quarter squat. So I'm here, and from here, I'm gonna move down to where I'm right at about parallel, come back up to that quarter squat position. So I'm just breaking down the full range of motion of the squat into 3 different parts. And then this last portion, I'll start at parallel, drop down to the bottom, right back up to parallel. And then lastly, just to kind of put it all together, I'll go through 4 or 5 empty bar squats. All right, so we got through that empty bar warm up. Depending upon where I'm working out at, like I'm here in my garage, my plates that I use are kilo plates. If I'm working out at school, those are in pounds. So my build up's slightly different from that. So like if I'm at school or I'm working somewhere where it's all pounds, basically I will start with 135 on the bar. We got with kilo plates, putting the reds on, so that would actually make it 155 or 70 kilos to start. Usually my first set, I like to go slower tempo, really feel that movement on the way down, come up in normal. I'll do anywhere from like 5 to 8 reps here. So it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, what feels right. I'm not saying there's any particular right answer to it, but so unrack it, get those feet locked in. Everything here is with the intent of really rooting your feet into the ground, get the brace nice and strong. All right, so warm up set number 2. We have bumped up to 110 kilos. Like I said, it depends on where I'm squatting. Here in the garage, we started with 70. We're throwing on another 20 on each side. Takes it up to what's about 243 to 45 pounds, 243 technically. If I'm squatting somewhere where it's pounds, I'll start at 135, go up to 225. This is still very much a pretty easy warm-up set for me. You can see I don't have knee sleeves on, no shoes on still. I do have to brace a little harder as at every set that more weight goes on. You've got to brace a little harder, get everything locked in just a little bit more. But that's kind of the goal of this is every one you just have to dial in a little bit more intently, brace hard, lock into the floor, squat well. So with this set in particular, typically I'll look to go anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. May have a pause, may do a tempo, maybe a normal one. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling each day. Okay, third warm-up set, we have moved up to 140 kilos, which is 308 pounds. Yet again, if I'm squatting in a place where there are pound plates, this is going to be my 315 set. So I had 1 plate to 2 plates to 3 plates. With kilos, we went 70 to 110 to 140. You can see I did put my weightlifting shoes on. This is kind of that number for me that I can always do, but this is going to be kind of that determining factor of how well it's going to feel. I haven't put my knee sleeves on yet. I haven't put my belt on yet. And I'm very adamant about those warm-up sets and starting sets and building up sets, not using that stuff not till I need to, but till I get to the point where I have a certain percentage of weight on. I want to be able to brace hard without a belt. That way I can still do it and don't have to rely on it. I want to be able to squat to a full range of motion without the heel wedge of my shoes, and I want to work on strengthening my knees without the sleeves compressing against them. So I try to go as long as I can or as long as I feel comfortable without any of that stuff, but then I kind of add one at a time. So this set I got the shoes on, next set I'll use the knee sleeves, and then I'll go into my working sets with my belt on. So when I get up to this point, usually whatever rep number I'm going for in my working sets, I'll start working at that here. So I'm going sets of 2 today, so I'm going to go 2 reps at this one point. Got up to my final warm-up set. We're at 160 kilos. My working sets are going to be at 175. What I like to do on this last warm-up set is I'll typically actually only do 1 rep. I know on the 140 I said I do whatever I'm doing for my working sets, but the final warm-up set I just like to do 1. I've not put the belt on yet. Knee sleeves are on, but I want to feel this out. Brace hard, but I don't want it to be anything that's going to really tax me. I want to be fully ready to go by the time I get to my working set. So 1 rep here, we're definitely at a weight that I have to definitely dial in, have to think about it, have to make sure everything is in the right spot. Okay, so we got the 175 on the bar. What I'm actually going to be doing first is what I just termed as a primer. So I've been doing this for about 8 or 9 weeks now, but before I actually do my working set, I will do something with the squats themselves. I've been doing mace swings. Just really helps you get grounded to the floor, because you have to lock in with the mace swinging around you, but also reinforces that brace while maintaining a good posture in the ribs. So I'm gonna hope that I don't hit anything in here. So we're here. couple things to close out here, guys. We're gonna take it way back to the beginning with that empty bar warm up. So key takeaways from that, like I said, it's not necessarily the end all be all. It works very well for me. I've been doing that on my squats and on my deadlifts for a couple of years now. If nothing else, if you're in a time crunch, it's an easy way to get your body fully activated and be under or be able to put a load on the bar without having to spend 10, 20, 30 minutes doing all kinds of activation exercises. If you feel like you need those, by all means do them. There's times where I'll do the same thing. Knees feel a little cranky, so I do some TKEs, something else for my hips, something else for my ankles. It just kind of depends on the day. But as a whole, the empty bar warm up, I do that every day that I squat, every day that I deadlift. So give that a try, see if you like it. Make sure the feet get locked into the ground. Make sure you're braced really hard, even though it's a light bar. And make sure you move through each of those partial ranges with a perfect technique. That's the goal of this. Everything is with a perfect technique, or what you are perfectly capable of doing. As we added weight each time, the big thing is just dial in that focus just a little bit more. When we're under that first warm-up set with 135 or 155, whatever it may be, you don't have to focus as much on it. But when we get up to 315, 365, whatever that is, everything's just gonna be dialed in a little bit more. Everything's gonna be locked in a little bit harder. So keep that in mind as you build up. Also, mind you, your build-up sets are gonna be different than my build-up sets. So don't feel like you have to go 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate. That's all based off of what you're capable of doing. Last thing, when I got to my working sets, you can tell in the video, I don't explain anything, I don't say anything. That's because I need to make sure I'm dialed in at those. That's my heaviest sets that I'm doing for the day. I want it to move as perfectly as possible. I want it to move it as fast as possible. So I didn't want to expel any energy or lose any focus by trying to explain something. I just wanted to show you what I do when I'm underneath or when I'm getting ready to do my heaviest sets of the day. And then I will say, once again, you don't have to do it, but I have enjoyed doing it the last 9 or 10 weeks. That primer set, it doesn't have to be a mace swing. It can be anything you want it to be, really. What I do recommend is if you're doing a full body movement like a squat or a deadlift, choose something that's gonna really emphasize activating the core. The mace swing works well on that for me. Plus I just love doing it. So that is the movement I've chosen to do as my primer for my squats. So give that a shot, see how you like it. Let me know. I'll see you guys soon.